So it's time to take a look at data capture forms, and we're going to look at both online forms, and we're going to start off with paper-based forms. But before we do so, I need to get my pen up here, don't I? I keep forgetting about that one. In colour white, that's what we want. Let's have a look at this word, data. Now, what do we mean by data? Well, at A-level, and I know this isn't A-level, what we refer to it as being sort of raw facts or figures. So if I said to you, for example, that's raw data, if you like. Happens to be my birthday, which kind of gives you a little bit more scope as to understanding what we mean by information. Information is data that has been, and the key word we're looking for is the word processed. It's data that's been processed, if you like, to give it meaning. So if you argue on its lowest level, that's data. I told you it's my date of birth. That's giving you some meaning behind it. So therefore you could argue that 14th 8th 1969 is my birthday. If there had been results in a test, for example, I could have processed this maybe to plot a graph or to calculate an average for the student. But the marks themselves on their own would have just been simple data. Now, I mentioned earlier on that we're going to look at data. This is what first of all, we're going to look at paper-based systems or manual data capture forms. Just simple forms that you fill in. Someone gives you a piece of paper and they'll fill this form in. You go, well, thank you very much, I'll do that. We're also going to look at automatic data capture forms. I'm going to have a look at that. We're going to have a look at EasyJet's website in a little moment. But the whole point is that when you're capturing data, so we'll put capture data, what you're trying to do is make it as easy as possible to enter the data into a computer system. And good practice is regarded making sure that when you design a form, you give the correct amount of space on the form, so people can fill their bits and bobs in, names, address, etc. And what you'll also really be looking to do is make sure that you give nice, clear instructions. So we'll say these are the good things to do on a data capture form. Now I've got a form here, fortunately it went in front of those numbers there. I'll put the 69 there as well, never mind. But the whole point is that this is quite a good form. I mean, if I just flip the pen colour just a second now to, let's say it's like a reddish colour, you can see that there are good gaps to put in. That's a nice big gap there, isn't it, for your surname? I think you'd struggle not to fill in your surname in that box unless you've got those posh double-barreled ones. You can see that it looks kind of fine. There are some problems with this form that I'll come back to. But once again, you can see here that we've got sort of nice, clear instructions about what to be filled in. So that's, we would think, a reasonably well-designed form. I'm not convinced that this particular form is actually that good. Let me explain why. If I go on to the next page and bring that form back, I want to talk about what makes a badly designed form. So bad design we'll put up here. What makes a bad designed form? Well, first of all, a badly designed form would have small fonts. In other words, it's very difficult to read. Now, I think this is quite an easy one to read, and of course on your screen it's quite small, but if it's printed out on A4 paper, I don't think we would struggle to necessarily read the content of that form. But badly designed forms would have boxes, too small boxes. They're just too small to put information in. And I think that actually, if you just pop the ink colour back again here, that I'm not convinced that necessarily this box is large enough to put your entire address in. Certainly when I lived in Wales, I lived at Little Gables, it was something 85 Main Road, Portskewitt, Gwent, as it was in those days. I might just be able to squeak that in. But if you live at a house name with a very long road name, and that's in a village, and then there's a town, I'm thinking that might be quite difficult to squeeze that in that box. So I might suggest that this particular form, in that particular case, has been sort of badly designed. Other things you want to avoid are on any forms that you do is something like vague questions. Now, we don't really have questions on this particular form, but it's things like when people write, what is best? Well, what do you mean by best? I mean, you might argue that these are the best video tutorials I've ever seen. And some other people that have seen better ones might say, no, they're not. It's kind of a little bit on the vague side. So, good advice is I quite like this one here. If I say perhaps what methods to use to travel to school, you can see that you're forced into giving sort of options there. So that takes away the concept of vagueness down here. So we'll put down here, not vague. Okay, you've got, sort of options there you could choose. Some of you might say, well, I get a bus part of the way and then I walk part of the way. Maybe better instruction here would have been, what's the, what distance, I don't know, what's the main method of getting to school? Perhaps you might walk a little bit, but you predominantly go by bus, don't you? I don't know. That's one that you could consider. One that we don't have here that I do want to bring in is that a lot of people, it's called overlapping of ranges. So if I said to you, how old are you? And I gave these categories, 0 to 5, I don't think of that, then 5 to 10, and then 10 to 20, and then 20 to 30. You can probably see the problem. If you are 20, well, which box do you tick? That really should have been a 19, and that really should have been a 9, and maybe that should have been a 4 there. So be careful when you're designing forms not to overlap any ranges. We mentioned a moment ago that this address form here, I might have flipped my pen back to red again here, the address form up here was kind of badly done. I mean, to be honest with you, when someone writes their address, you can normally split it into address line 1, address line 2, town, county, and then postcode, which I'll just pop here because I might run out of space. I think this form would have been better designed if that box for address had been split up into several different boxes. You'll also notice that the one problem I do have with this particular form is I think most of you, let's look at gender there. Most of you would know that gender is M or F, male or female. But perhaps it would have been better if someone had put under that gender, enter M or F in small font underneath there. And date of birth here, that's an interesting one. If you give this form to an American, they would enter their date of birth like this, month, day, year. So if you're born on the 14th of August, an American would have put 08-14-69, if that's the year of birth. But a British person would have put DD MMYY. So we would write 14th of the 8th, 69. So if this particular form was being used cross-continents, then you would argue that you're not being told what format to put that in. And some people might even try to write in 14th August 1960. Now, that's, realistically, I think that someone should have put DDMMYY just there. I think that would have been far more sensible. So those are some examples of, sort of bad design. I mean, the golden rule is nice big fonts, give good instructions, make sure you've got plenty of space, don't ask vague questions, make sure that you don't overlap. And if you can try and break down any components of boxes to their smaller constituent parts. So why don't we have a look at this is a paper-based form, and I think this one's been quite badly designed. I'm going to press escape here now. And we'll just discard those animations, and we're going to pop off. Oh no, I haven't done it. Never mind. Let's pop off to the internet and let's go and visit a website. I think we'll start with easyjet.co.uk. Let's book a holiday. Where do we fancy going? Well, here we go. I need my mouse here. So I'm going from London Gatwick, and let's say we're going to, I don't know, Alicante. I've only had to type the word Ali, haven't I? And it said, I'll predict that for you. That's good design. It's automatically filling things in for you. I'm left with tick boxes. Let's go, I'm not going to go one way only. Let's go outbound. And this is good design. I haven't got to type the date in. I'm able to select the date. It's the 14th of October. Let's say we're going tomorrow. And we're going to come back. And it's kind of handy because it's from the 14th, we go 21st, we go for 7 days. And we'll go 2 adults. And I don't have to actually type anything in. This is a well-designed, let's say with 2 adults and 2 kids, and we'll go show flights. So you can see so far this form has been well designed, and let's say we're going, we'll take the lowest fare. I'm a bit tight like that, and we'll come back with that one. So that's nicely designed. I was hoping there'd be a continue box there. Continue, here it is. Wow, look at that final price, £585 just to fly to Alicante. That's crazy. And what you can see now is that they're trying to sell us stuff, aren't they? But we'll just continue there. We won't add any luggage, no thanks. And I'm hoping to get to the point where it asks me for my name and address. Come on now. We don't want a car, no thank you. We'll go through that one. Oh, just stay with me. I know this is not very exciting, but hopefully at some point we'll get to the point where, oh no, I'm going to have to log in, aren't I? I am new to EasyJet. Oh gosh, I'm not new to EasyJet actually. I hope I don't actually book this flight, because that would be rather embarrassing, especially as I am off to Alicante myself in a couple of weeks' time, and I will try and pop my password in, which I hope is going to be what I've just typed in there, or maybe not. Let's try it without a couple on the end. There we go. Oh gosh, you've got my name and address there. Let's change my details. I don't live there, but the whole point, yeah, oh my God, it's got my mobile number and everything. That's rather embarrassing, isn't it? But the whole point is that at least you can see I've moved from there. I don't live there anymore. Yeah, well, we hope to move soon. But the whole point is you can see that everything's being broken down into sensible boxes, and what I'm going to do is quickly, no, don't do that, because you get the idea anyway. It's a nicely, I don't want to delete this video or not now, you'll know where I live. It's a nicely designed form, and it gives you, you can't really go wrong with this. There's suitable spaces for everything. It's been broken down, and you can see that along the way, if we go back a few pages, I think, along the way, let's go back to the very beginning. Oh, that's our Moodle there. Back one more, and you can see that it basically forced me into choosing, if you like, valid data to put into that system. So we can say that that particular system has been well designed. I think I'm going to call it a day actually on this particular video, because I'm a little bit embarrassed now that I've given away all my personal information, and I shouldn't have done that really. That's bad practice on my part, but I trust you all a bit, I think. Just don't type my stuff into other stuff, please. Thank you very much. Right. Off you go, you haven't got anything to do here. We'll move on to the next video quickly.